Have you ever wondered just how crucial data protection is in our digital age, and who is at the helm of ensuring data protection in an organization? Well, you're about to find out. In today's world, data is a currency. It's a goldmine for businesses, providing invaluable insights and driving key decisions. But with great power comes great responsibility. GDPR was rolled out to ensure that businesses handle this data responsibly, protecting individuals' rights and privacy. At the heart of these regulations sits a key figure, the Data Protection Officer, often referred to as the DPO. Now you might be asking, what exactly does a DPO do? The DPO is a leadership role, specifically mandated by GDPR for certain organizations. They serve as an independent data protection expert within the organization, ensuring that the organization is in full compliance with GDPR. Why is this role so important, you ask? Well, consider the DPO as the guardian of data rights within an organization. They are the ones who ensure that the data collected is not misused, that it's stored safely, and that every individual's privacy rights are respected. But the DPO isn't just a watchdog, they're also an advisor and an educator. They inform and advise the organization and its employees about their obligations under GDPR and other data protection laws. They monitor compliance with these laws, manage internal data protection activities, and even advise on data protection impact assessments. In essence, the DPO is the first line of defense in protecting individuals' data rights, serving as the first point of contact for supervisory authorities and individuals whose data is being processed. The DPO's role is fundamental in the digital age, where the volume of data being processed is immense and growing every day. This role ensures that the importance of data protection is not just understood, but is actively embedded in the organization's practices. Now that we have a basic understanding of what a DPO is, let's delve deeper into the specifics. So, when does an organization need a DPO? A great question indeed. The answer lies within the guidelines set by the General Data Protection Regulation. Firstly, public authorities or bodies are required to designate a data protection officer. This is a broad category encompassing a range of organizations from government departments to public health bodies. However, courts acting in their judicial capacity are an exception to this rule. Beyond public bodies, the need for a DPO extends into the private sector as well. Organizations that engage in large-scale systematic monitoring of individuals need a DPO. Think about a company that tracks online behavior to target advertising, for instance. This level of monitoring brings a significant responsibility to protect the personal data being collected, hence the need for a DPO, and it doesn't stop there. Organizations that process large-scale special categories of data also fall under the remit of requiring a DPO. Special categories of data refer to sensitive information like racial or ethnic origin, political opinions, religious beliefs, health data, and more. Moreover, organizations dealing with data that pertains to criminal convictions and offenses are not exempted. The processing of such sensitive information brings with it a high risk to individuals' rights and freedoms, necessitating the presence of a DPO to oversee the protection of this data. In essence, the role of a DPO is not limited to any one sector or type of organization. It stretches across a variety of industries and sectors wherever there is a need to ensure the protection of personal data on a large scale. So, whether you are a public body, a private organization monitoring individuals on a large scale, or an entity processing special categories of data, GDPR mandates you to have a DPO. It's all about ensuring that data protection is at the heart of your operations. Now, you might be wondering, what qualifications does a person need to become a DPO? What makes a person qualified to be a DPO? That's a question worth pondering. A data protection officer is not just a title, but a role that demands a certain set of skills and knowledge. Let's dive into these qualifications. First and foremost, a DPO must possess expert knowledge of data protection law and practices. This doesn't mean just a surface-level understanding, but a deep, thorough comprehension of the complexities of data protection laws and regulations, specifically GDPR. This expertise is crucial for the DPO to effectively ensure the organization's compliance with these laws. But expert knowledge alone isn't enough. A DPO also needs to have the ability to advise on data protection impact assessments, or DPIAs. These are tools used to identify and reduce the data protection risks of a project. The DPO must be capable of guiding the organization through the DPIA process, ensuring that all potential risks are identified and adequately addressed. Beyond knowledge and ability, a DPO must also possess a deep understanding of the processing operations carried out by the organization. They need to be familiar with the ins and outs of how the organization collects, stores, uses, and shares personal data. This understanding allows the DPO to provide accurate and effective advice on data protection matters and to identify any areas where the organization's data processing activities may be at risk of non-compliance. Professional qualities are also a must. This includes strong communication skills to liaise with data subjects, staff, and regulators. They must also possess integrity to handle sensitive data responsibly and maintain trust in the organization. In summary, the qualifications of a DPO extend far beyond mere knowledge. They encompass the ability to apply that knowledge in practice, a deep understanding of the organization's data processing operations, and the professional qualities necessary to perform the role effectively. With these qualifications, a DPO has a set of key responsibilities, but we'll delve into those responsibilities in the next part of our discussion. Stay tuned. What are the key responsibilities of a DPO? The Data Protection Officer, or DPO, has a critical role to play in an organization. They are the independent data protection expert who ensures that the organization is in compliance with GDPR and other data protection laws. One of the primary responsibilities of a DPO is to inform and advise the organization and its employees about their obligations. This means that the DPO must have an expert understanding of data protection laws and be able to clearly communicate these complex legal requirements to others in the organization. They are the go-to person for any questions or concerns about data protection. In addition to advising the organization, a DPO is also responsible for monitoring compliance with GDPR. This involves managing internal data protection activities, such as ensuring that data is being stored and used in a way that is compliant with the law. The DPO must also advise on data protection impact assessments, also known as DPIAs. These assessments are a key part of GDPR compliance process, and the DPO plays a critical role in guiding the organization through them. The DPO is also responsible for training staff in data protection. This training is crucial because it ensures that everyone in the organization understands their obligations under GDPR and knows how to handle data appropriately. By providing this training, the DPO helps to create a culture of data protection within the organization. Finally, a DPO serves as the first point of contact for supervisory authorities and for individuals whose data is processed. This means that if there are any questions or concerns about how the organization is handling data, the DPO is the person who will handle these inquiries. They also serve as the liaison between the organization and any supervisory authorities that oversee data protection compliance. In summary, the DPO is a critical figure in an organization. They are the independent expert who ensures that the organization is in compliance with GDPR. They advise the organization on data protection matters, monitor compliance, train staff, and serve as the first point of contact for any data protection inquiries. And where does a DPO fit within an organization? Where does a DPO stand within the organization hierarchy? Picturing the organization as a pyramid, you'll find the data protection officer perched quite near the top. This lofty position is not without reason. Given the weighty responsibility of ensuring GDPR compliance, the DPO must have a bird's-eye view of all data protection activities across the organization. The DPO is not just an advisor but also a guardian, a gatekeeper of data privacy. The role demands a level of autonomy and authority that can only be achieved if the DPO reports directly to the highest level of management. This direct line of communication ensures that the DPO's insights and counsel are heard and acted upon, fostering an organizational culture that values and protects data privacy. However, this close proximity to the apex of the pyramid doesn't mean the DPO is a puppet on a string, manipulated by top management. Quite the contrary, the DPO should not receive any instructions regarding the execution of their tasks. They must be allowed to operate independently, making decisions based on their expert knowledge of data protection laws and practices, rather than on the whims and wishes of the organization's leaders. The DPO is also not a solitary figure operating in isolation. They need to be provided with appropriate resources to carry out their tasks and maintain their expert knowledge. This could include access to ongoing training, sufficient budget, and a dedicated support team. The organization must ensure that the DPO is well equipped to navigate the complex terrain of data protection and compliance. And what about the employees? They too play a crucial role in this data protection ecosystem. The DPO should be accessible to them, ready to advise, guide, and educate about the nuances of GDPR and other data protection laws. So, the DPO stands at a unique crossroads within the organization, bridging the gap between top management and the rest of the team, while staying steadfast and independent in their mission to protect data privacy. But what about the independence of a DPO? How independent is a DPO within an organization? This question leads us to the fascinating realm of a data protection officer's autonomy. An essential aspect of a DPO's role is the requirement to operate independently. Independence here means that the DPO should not be influenced or directed by the organization in the performance of their tasks. They should have the freedom to assess, advise, and report on data protection matters without any interference or fear of reprisal. To ensure this independence, the General Data Protection Regulation stipulates that a DPO cannot be dismissed or penalized for performing their duties. This provision safeguards the DPO's position, allowing them to carry out their responsibilities without fear of losing their job or facing any form of penalty. It's a bit like a safety net, ensuring that the DPO can do their job without looking over their shoulder. But there's more to the independence of a DPO than just job security. A DPO must also avoid any conflicts of interest. This means that the DPO should not have any other roles or duties within the organization that could lead to a conflict of interest. The reason is simple. A DPO's primary responsibility is to ensure data protection compliance. If they have other duties that could potentially conflict with this primary role, it might compromise their ability to act independently. So, imagine a DPO who is also in charge of marketing, a department that often deals with personal data. There's a potential conflict there, as the DPO might be torn between promoting the organization's interests and ensuring data protection compliance. To avoid such scenarios, the DPO should not hold any position that could lead to a conflict of interest. And there you have it, the independence of a DPO. It's a role that requires a delicate balance. On one hand, the DPO must be integrated into the organization to understand its data processing activities. On the other hand, they must maintain a certain distance to avoid conflicts of interest and maintain their autonomy. This role certainly comes with its share of challenges and best practices. What challenges might a DPO face, and what are the best practices to overcome them? Delving into the world of a data protection officer, it's clear that it's not all smooth sailing. There are several challenges that may arise, and it's how these are handled that can make all the difference. One of the primary challenges is balancing the DPO's independence with their integration into the organization. The DPO must operate independently, free from the influence of the organization. Simultaneously, the DPO needs to be well integrated, understanding the inner workings of the organization to effectively ensure GDPR compliance. This can be a delicate tightrope to walk. To overcome this, it's crucial to establish clear boundaries and expectations from the outset. The DPO should be given the freedom to perform their duties without interference, but regular communication and collaboration with the organization are essential. Secondly, ensuring ongoing training and support for the DPO can be a challenge. The landscape of data protection is ever evolving, with new laws, technologies, and threats emerging regularly. As such, the DPO must continually update their knowledge and skills. To tackle this, organizations should invest in continuous professional development for their DPO. This could include attending relevant workshops, seminars, and courses to stay abreast of the latest developments in data protection. Lastly, developing clear lines of communication between the DPO, management, and staff can also present challenges. The DPO needs to be accessible to all levels of the organization while maintaining the confidentiality of sensitive information. To facilitate this, organizations can establish a clear communication protocol, ensuring that all parties understand how, when, and why to contact the DPO. In summary, the role of a DPO is not without its challenges. However, with clear boundaries, ongoing training, and effective communication, these can be navigated successfully. leading to a robust and effective data protection strategy. Now let's summarize what we've learned. Let's take a moment to reflect on the key points about the role and responsibilities of a DPO. This leadership role, mandated by GDPR for certain organizations, acts as an independent data protection expert, ensuring compliance within the organization. The DPO is required for public authorities, organizations that engage in large-scale systematic monitoring of individuals and those processing large-scale special categories of data. The DPO should possess expert knowledge of data protection law and practices with the ability to advise on data protection impact assessments and monitor compliance. Their key responsibilities include informing and advising the organization and its employees about GDPR compliance, monitoring compliance, and being the first point of contact for supervisory authorities and individuals whose data is processed. The DPO must operate independently, with no conflict of interest, reporting directly to the highest level of management. Their role is crucial in ensuring GDPR compliance and protecting individuals' data rights. With this knowledge, organizations can better align their data protection practices with GDPR requirements,